Hi everyone, this is Heather Lottinen from the Flourish Academy. This is episode 512, 11? Anyway, I am photographing a wedding today and I'm really excited because I am the second shooter. Well, actually, this is one of my friends who is in the Flourish Academy membership, and she hired me to be her second shooter so she could shoot weddings and learn, and obviously then have my images as backup. So it's all of the fun and the learning without any risk, because I will make sure that she gets everything she needs. It's actually one of my favorite things to do. But we're headed to Ogle Bay, West Virginia today, and I have a not so great story about a wedding I shot there back in '06. So this is 13 years ago. My very good friend David Burke and I have been shooting many weddings together over the years, and we were at Ogle Bay. It was August. It was a super hot day, and we're getting ready for the wedding. Okay, let me back up and say this is before I had a lot of experience, which means I did not have all of the information I needed going into the wedding. I knew that the wedding was taking place inside of the reception venue. What I did not know, and I found out about 30 to 45 minutes prior to the ceremony, was that it was candlelit. And it was a beautiful August afternoon at like 3:30, and the bride wanted all of the windows blacked out in this venue that was already kind of dark, but at least the windows would help. Very, very high ceilings, all very dark wood. She wanted the windows blocked out and she wanted nothing but candlelight for the ceremony. Okay, so I find this out at the very last minute. I say to David, hey, will you go set up those off-camera flashes? Let's do 2 off-camera flashes, one here, one there. At the time, we were using Pocket Wizards to trigger these flashes. So, okay, no big deal. He knows how to do all this. Okay, he goes and sets it up. I'm finishing up with the bride. He comes to me and he says, hey, none of your Pocket Wizards are working. And I said, excuse me, what do you mean? And he said, yeah, I tried turning them on and different cables and there aren't any lights. And he said, oh yeah, and the flashes are acting funny, like they're not charging up. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, okay, switch out some batteries and see if something's going on. Okay, so he runs back into the room, switches out all the batteries. He comes back and he says, I have some bad news. I think all of your batteries are dead. And I said, I'm sorry, what? So at the time, I was using rechargeable AA batteries. Pocket Wizards and flashes all took AA's. Those batteries, I thought, had been adequately charged. I had a system in process even back then, but none of them were working. They were all dead. It is now less than 30 minutes, maybe more like 20, prior to a candlelit ceremony. And I look at my buddy Dave and I say, by the way, I handle myself pretty well in these situations. I thrive under pressure and I am a troubleshooter, problem solver by nature. And I looked at him kind of probably in a scary Jack Nicholson Shining kind of way. And I said, fix it. And I just walked away. Like, what is he gonna do, right? Oh man. So he goes into the gift shop at this resort and buys every single AA they had, which was not that many. It was enough for us to get our Pocket Wizards and 2 flashes up and running for the ceremony. So he is literally putting those batteries in as she is getting ready to walk down the aisle. And I didn't even really have a chance to test out, the power and how it looked and the positioning. And again, back in the day, you couldn't control your off-camera flash using Pocket Wizards, the output. So I had to do it on the flash. So I'd run over and I'd change something and run back. Okay. So we get through the ceremony and I'm like, talk about adrenaline. All of the batteries were dead. I was like, well, that's a problem we have to solve later. So then we finished the ceremony, we started the portraits, and I said to him, hey, we're gonna need more batteries for this reception. So he had to run off campus, find a little convenience store nearby, again, buy all the AA's and bring them back. Okay, so a couple of things I learned from this. I call it the great battery debacle of '06. Was always have spare alkalines in your trunk. So it's 2019. I'm assuming that AA rechargeables are much better now than they were, but I still will not buy them. I will not use them because those batteries had been charged. I actually, after that happened, I bought an ohm meter with the 2 electrodes is that what they're called? To measure the power of every single AA battery to make sure it was at full strength, because I was a freak after that. I mean, wouldn't you be? It was insane. The good news is when something like that happens, after we solve the problem and everything's okay, I think to myself, okay, number one, that will never happen again. And number two, I'm never using rechargeable batteries. So I always use alkalines and I've never had a problem. And yeah, certainly it is more expensive than recharging them. Craig and I looked at the charger itself. We looked at the batteries. We couldn't find any obvious issues, except they just weren't accepting a charge anymore. Like, oh, we're done here. We've had enough and that's it. Chrissy is saying she was there at the beginning of her career. Had to send Matthew during the reception once. Now we keep a spare in the glove box. Yeah, I used to, when I was full-time weddings, I had a pack, I think it was like 64 AA's, like one of those huge packs in my trunk at all times. Check your batteries, charge your batteries. I have wedding nightmares about batteries. I don't think it was related to that. I think it's just wedding nightmares. I have these nightmares that my camera battery dies and I don't have my backup and I forgot my charger, so I couldn't plug it in, and all of this insanity. I have college nightmares and wedding nightmares that I'm pretty sure I'm going to have for the rest of my life, but that's okay. Check your batteries, have spare batteries. So I'm headed to Ogle Bay. I'm super excited. Check back for photos. I'll try to take a few behind the scenes, but I mentioned this in a previous video. When I'm photographing a wedding, obviously the client is my number one focus. And one of the things I'm going to tell my friend that I'm working with today is she's trying to learn weddings and see how all of this works out in terms of, you know, camera settings, but posing and lighting and time of day and what you choose. But I'm going to tell her when I arrive, I'm going to say, listen, all of that stuff is really important. And I consider myself a good, competent photographer, but that is not my gift. My gift is serving people. So I'm going to tell her it's probably more important for her to watch me interact with people and how I use my personality to bring the best out of everyone. That, to me, is a more important skill than learning your exposure triangle. Yes, you have to know your exposure triangle and how to take photos, for sure. I'm not negating nor downplaying that. You have to understand those things, but anybody can learn that. That's technical, it's math, you figure it out, and then you've got it. But working with people in a wedding environment is key. Making people feel special, especially the people that maybe feel a little left out, like the groom's mother. The wedding tends to be about the bride and her family, right? And we focus on the bride and her mother. I go out of my way to make the groom's mother feel important and special. And I promise you, after today, she will remember and love me forever. I want to be unforgettable. I want to be remarkable. I want to give people something to remark upon, but I'm not going to be an idiot about it. I know when I need to intervene and make things happen, and I also know when I need to step back and shut up. I hope that you found this useful. I'll see you in the next video.